I have a question for both of you as artists. A cover song is tricky to breathe new life into because it has its own life. And Jason, your vocal went down first. And I'd just love to hear each of you talk about how you figure out how you're going to approach a song like this, where the assignment was to be fairly faithful to the original, but you're trying to put your own spin and put your heart into it. How do you get there? What do you do?
Well, Jason and I were sort of talking earlier about how we sort of took on the story as more of a narrator perspective, where we're sort of telling the story, not necessarily being the characters. And so I feel like that even before we got to even speak, being in the studio, I feel like that's kind of how I always felt it, that it was sort of putting on this big sort of story that you could see in your head versus I am the person going through this. And so I feel like that taking it in a different way, but while keeping it to what this song is talking about, sort of gave it something new.
Mm-hmm. I would add that two things. One is that I needed to find the truth of this in my own life. And whenever I sing a song, whether it's my own song or somebody else's song, I need to figure out what the words mean to me and why I would ever be in the position to say these things. And I did find some memories to draw from, even like a specific scene, sitting in a car with someone. I was sitting in a car with a girlfriend at the time, and I felt so alone. Like, there we are. We've been together 6 months. We're driving. I think there was some sort of fight or something like that. And I felt like I was alone. And there's someone sitting right next to me. So that was the emotional source for me. And then on the production side, definitely, you had said this. The assignment is we kind of have to honor the original structure of the arrangement, and the original structure of the arrangement is beautiful, and it's such a well orchestrated thing. I tried some synths, didn't really add. We did wind up adding bass, synth bass, which it's just my favorite thing.
Well, in the original, you've got effectively the whole quartet. I mean, you got viola voices too, and we've got only cello.
Yeah.
And to me, the low resonance of the cello really interacted with the way you guys approached the vocal. It had a darker but a little more intimate feeling to me than the big cinema of the original. Mm-hmm. I felt like you guys brought that. So I have a question for Sophia on that topic. So Jason's vocal goes down first, and one of your challenges is to match his phrasing and his timing, but while also bringing the kind of heart to it. How did you approach that?
Yeah, I mean, with the matching, I got pretty good at that because my mentor liked to do the most confusing things. We'd rehearse it one way, and then he would do it a completely different way, and I would just have to go with it. So just sort of over time, I kind of picked up on what people are going to do or what they're not going to do and figure that out. But I definitely think that just, obviously doing instinctually what just felt right is sort of where I came from with it. And I think, too, the vocal that Jason put down was so beautiful, and it was very unique on its own, but it also left a lot of space for me to put on the harmony and have some space to do some of my little flippy things that I do. And I think that the way that we were able to sort of mesh it together is what made it really cool and interesting.
Yeah, I feel so at home in hearing it and the way it came out. I feel really proud of it. It was super fun and a very novel experience for me because I tend to write such lush songs and create all of this ambiance in the arrangements and weird noises and stuff, and this is so simple. So to feel at home in something that's so simple, that was a learning and a growth for me.
I was saying how this was one of my favorite songs in middle school, and so middle school me is like, oh my god, I can't believe you're saying this right now. Like, it's like blowing her mind. So I think just getting to sing, to sing something that Christina Aguilera has sung is a scary thing because she's incredible. But I feel like with that inspiration from how much I loved the song, and just seeing how far I've come in my music journey, it sort of just fueled it. Knowing that someone so amazing sung this, it was like, that's just giving me a drive to want to do it as best as I possibly can. Just, yeah, seeing how far I've come from listening to this song in middle school. So I think that's something that's really special about it. And I agree with you. I like how there's open space in the song, and it just feels like there's a lot of space to breathe almost in this song, which is interesting because it is so opposite to what the song's about, where I feel like it's sort of this like suffocated feeling, and I think that juxtaposition is really cool.
Something actually came to mind that I wanted to share. In trying to understand the message of this song, I was talking with my partner Carla, who's standing behind the camera, and we basically came to that there's a core of like a wounded core of the person who's sending this message, singing the song. That core is saying, I can't hold on anymore. I'm in desperation. I've lost control. There's nothing I can do. And there's a mask over the core, and the mask, the presentation of the singer is, I am still in control. Like if I tell you to say something, I can get you to speak still. I can get you to come back to me.
That's good.
What else you got?
Well, one thing that's interesting to me is that, when the song was first recorded, he and Axl, Great Big World, it wasn't a duet. And Christina Aguilera heard it on the dance show and then added her voice to it. And you guys sang it knowing it's a duet. And I feel like some of the space and some of the things you're talking about have, to me, some of their origins in that you're each singing like it's a conversation, and they weren't. And I feel like that's part of the emotional effect. That's why it made sense to me that what we went for was a little more, resonant and intimate in those ways. So I don't know what my question is at the moment, but I have a different question. One thing that's interesting about the way music gets made nowadays is that it often has to go down quickly and remotely. And we had a very short period of time between when we found out about the opportunity and when we needed to have a mix. And so this collaboration involved a lot of moving pieces and pieces going back and forth. When you're not in a room like we just were, the four of us playing, how do you get to that sense of the urgency in the vocal and in the piano part and that sort of thing?
Oh, cool. Oh my gosh, there's so much to say about the whole process and urgency and keeping your head clear in a room by yourself. So much of my musical life has been in a room by myself, and it's like beautiful and tragic at the same time, but I'm so used to that, and so used to having to hold the notion that this is of critical importance and urgent and emotional on my own. So thinking of meaning while I'm singing, it works, and how much it means to me to be making music allows me to just be like, this has to get out tonight, have to keep going. There's so much, there's like I got a fever. There's like a fever in me to create. And I've actually had to tone it down a little bit, but it's not hard to tap into that alone. And actually what I loved about working with you two is that I felt met in that. So I'd send something out, I'd get something back. I reach out, I hear back. And we're all kind of firing fast and trying to achieve this objective. And it feels like we're together, even though we weren't physically together. And we had never met before.
Yeah, today's the day, guys.
Today's the day.
No, I agree. That's what I was gonna say. Like, this singing and creating music is my favorite thing on planet Earth. So why wouldn't it be the most important thing? Like, that's just a given. So even the questions of like, how do you get in the headspace of the song? It's like, this is my favorite thing ever. So you just do it. Like, you just do. I don't know how you even really explain that, I guess. But it's really fun. I would recommend.
Mostly I have to get in the headspace of not making music. When
Yeah,
I get too far away from it for too long, that's the thing that I have to like
No, exactly.
muster.
You sort of just have to be like, I'm just going to write a song, and be like, I'm not going to write a song, but I'm going to write a song. Like, if I go into it too, like, I have to write this right now, then you get stumped. It's sort of like music is a way of life. It's not like a career. It's like, this is your life, is music. And so I think that's why it's not easy, but it's what happens.
You hear artists all the time talk about how like the first track they laid down ends up being the best take, and they just like keep doing it over and over and over again, but they just go back to the first.
Disagree.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so glad you feel the same way.
No, I do not feel that way at all. You have to like, it's like warming up. If you're a gymnast, the first tumbling pass you do is not going to be the best one that you do. Like, you have to warm yourself up. It's the same thing for music. Like, you have to do it and get into it. I mean, there's times where the first one that you'll do is like, oh, that one was really special, but that's like the 1% of the time. I feel like that you lay something down. Other than that, it's just doing it over and over again in different ways.
I agree. I would add that it seems specifically to be that takes 3 through 5 of anything that I sing are like, there's some sweet stuff coming up there. And then it takes like 12 through 15. And I'll sometimes do 40 takes if I really feel like it. But it doesn't tend to be good after like 12 to 15.
Oh, yeah, no, it starts to like get too much.
Yeah.
You have to take a break.
But these days I will only do the first. I'll give myself like 5-6 takes. And then I just chill, listen to it, take a break, pick the best stuff. Because I don't want to bother with everything to get down to the 12 to 15. But it is sort of like there's this consistent,
exactly.
like there's a peak, then there's a valley, and then, something like that. But take one, rarely.
That is not, that blows my mind when I've heard those crazy stories where it's like, she only does one take and it's the perfect one. I'm like, is that real or is that just a myth? Because I think it's a myth. But no, these ones definitely took lots of takes. At least for me, this song did.
Yeah, me too. Also, I will say that take one, when creating something new,
is cool.
The first thing that comes out, like if I'm writing a song and I'm coming up with a melody, the first melody that comes out of my mind or out of my mouth there's usually some gold there.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm always pressing record on my phone. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Me too.
Because you never know what could be a winner. But for the actual vocal performance,
voice memos or something else?
Oh my gosh, I have thousands of them, and most of them are unnamed because I like to just keep the chaos of never knowing what it is.
It's nice that it dates it for you at least.
I know.
And it tells you where it was.
I know. It's always my house though, so it's never that exciting.
Okay.
So you're meeting today in person for the first time. And I know Jason can be a harsh critic when he like hears people's music for the first time. I don't know what your sensibilities are, but when you got each other's take and you don't know each other, you haven't met, like what struck you about hearing this other person's voice for the first time? Or stuck out.
You start.
Okay. Well, I don't listen to a lot of male artists. Like, I mainly listen to female singer-songwriters. And so, I don't know, hearing you, like, I was like, oh my God, guys can sing. I was like, I forgot about that. I was like, that's crazy. And I just got really excited because I've never, I've not been able to sing with, like, a duet with a guy. a long time. So it was exciting to get to explore that because it's different than the duets or trios I've done with other female singers. It's a completely different ballpark, and it's super cool. So I just remember hearing it, and it was like, I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited to get to sing with this and lay everything down. So it was very empowering and inspiring to get to hear it. And yeah, I just think your voice is really cool. Like, it's very interesting and unique. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Oh, I think your voice is really cool too.
Thank you.
For me, it was a little different because even though Sophia recorded her vocals second, she was on the project before I was. And I sort of felt like I was auditioning for Rob and for Sophia. So, like, I went into it kind of like, oh, I hope they like me. And then you wound up having to layer yourself on top of what I had done. And I was like, oh, this is great. No, this is fine. This will work fine. But I wasn't like, it didn't really feel like mine. It felt like yours. And like I was being invited in. So,
that's so interesting.
Yeah. And ironically, like the way that it's getting released, it's like part of my artist portfolio with you as a feature. But yeah, I'm grateful to have been like welcomed into this project.
Well, it's really cool. I mean, it's exciting for me because you're a bigger artist than I am. So it's funny how you viewed it as that, but I viewed it as that. So it's like how we should have just talked it out, you know? Like, and it's not the way it is, but
but who talks these days?
I know, seriously. But no, it's also interesting. I don't know about for you, but for me, it was kind of like The Voice, where it was like, I don't know what this person looks like, but I'm just hearing what they sound like. And that was a cool experience. Just having no idea kind of what your brand was, what your look was, and just hearing this voice. It was cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
So how did it come about?
Okay, so the best I can say is Rob Seals is a songwriting teacher and mastermind of helping to lift people up in the world of music. And he runs a school called the Songwriting School of Los Angeles.
The best thing ever.
The best thing ever. It literally is for musicians. And he is standing behind the camera.
Trying not to make eye contact because we're complimenting
just
him.
looking down.
Should I put the gun down, or is that...
Definitely put the gun down. We both have taken classes there in the past and like learned and workshopped songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I still take class.
There you go. I sometimes do too. Yeah, it's been a little while, but yeah, I plan to come back. In the course of time, Rob has become friends with so many people in music and in LA, and other generous people have come to the class to teach and talk about different things. And he knows Lindsay Wolfington, who is the music supervisor on Sullivan's Crossing, TV show that is currently airing in Canada. They were looking for a cover for this song. They had actually kind of, I guess the creators had fallen in love with the cover that they had found on YouTube, a cover of this song. And she thought, oh, we can beat this. We can do better than this. And she reached out to Rob in the same way that she has given her time to share about sync and TV and music on TV in classes. At the songwriting school, she reached out to Rob and said, I have this opportunity. Like maybe there's a student who can come up with something cool and replace the thing that my team currently has. So it was offered to him. He offered it to Sophia, eventually offered it to me. And we all collaborated to get it done. Yeah. And then the team wound up liking it. But we cranked it out in like a week.
I don't know how we did that.
And then waited 3 months.
Yeah, which is always fun. The music industry is so fun. I love to wait.
I thought it was dead. I just thought like, oh.
I always assume I do it and I put it out of my mind and I'm like, that didn't happen until I hear anything again. But yeah, it worked out. Lindsay Wolfington, she's so cool. She placed me in an Apple TV show, so she kind of knows. We kind of know each other. We met over Zoom one time in a class, and I was like, hello? It was really cool.
What was that show?
It was called Amber Brown. It was like a... What age group would you call that? It was more like... Yeah, like a tween show. It was really cute. And so it was a cover of Over the Rainbow. And yeah, it just worked out. I mean, Rob is, my mom was telling me about this. There's people who light other people's candles. And Rob is someone who does that because it doesn't take away from his flame to light other people's candles and help them out. And so that's just the kind of person that he is. Like, he's like, I got you, like trying to light everybody's candles, which is just so special and really cool. And so we're lucky that we get to, you know, have him in our lives because he lit our candles. And it worked out.
Lindsay seems like that kind of person.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, she gives amazing opportunities for super cool things. It's really special.
We talked a little bit about this already, but how did you decide on the production choices?
For my part, I'm glad that I even had a voice in the production because it was kind of like sorted when I came along, and then I thought I could beat the piano. That was the first thing that I did production wise. Like, there had been a scratch piano recorded. I guess, did you play that, Rob? Okay. Yeah, so I thought maybe I could get a better piano recording, and that was the first thing I did production wise.
And it was a recording that really supported your vocal. That, to me, that was the biggest thing. It felt like you playing and singing, even if you tracked them separately.
Okay.
And it had a point of view. I think that, to me, that's the most important thing. With everything has a point of view, and that had a point of view. And of course, both of your vocals have such a strong point of view.
Thanks.
But a lot of the production was that back and forth. It's like, okay, we replaced this, and then when I sent you the strings, then you had something different to sing to.
Yeah, and maybe maybe the bass was the last thing that went down.
Yeah, and it's just the low oxygen.
It's just a tone. Yeah.
I wish you guys could have seen Ken Oak. I tracked Ken on a Thursday night between 8:30 and 10 p.m. while there were classes going on upstairs, downstairs, and then I feel like you came back the next morning to sing.
Yeah, I believe so.
And you know, so it was this kind of fun back and forth of all the pieces coming together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sophia, you mentioned the song was meaningful to you in middle school, and I'm just curious, like, what kind of meaning did it have? Did you, like, go to sleep crying to it? Or, I don't know, you know, middle school girls are... Yeah,
middle school girls are weird. No, middle school, that's when I discovered that I could sing. So, like, I had no understanding of that before then. And so, I think, it was Christina Aguilera, and I used to, like, sit in my room and do karaoke to the song Beautiful. And I'd sit there on my floor, like, I am beautiful, singing that song, like, every night for, like, 2 years. So, I don't know, she's just always has been sort of there in my musical journey in, like, a very strange, roundabout way. And also, I think I just loved that 2-part harmony. Like, I just thought that was really special. And I think, too, like I was saying, I didn't know that I could sing or anything like that. And so I also thought that everybody could hear harmonies and everybody could, like, I was like, yeah, that's just what you do. And my mom was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And so I think that duet came at such a important time in my life of discovering all that kind of thing. That was not English. All those kinds of things. And so I think just that 2-part harmony really was important, which sounds so silly because it's so minute compared to what music is, but it was, I don't know, it was very special. And it was always playing on the radio in the car. So I always would turn it up.
And Jay, do you have any historical memory?
Of this song?
Yeah.
I knew the song. It's sort of like 50% of people that I mention this to know the song. They're like, oh yeah, say something.
Yeah, that's what they always say, something. I'm like, that's the one.
Yeah, that song, right. So it's like, it's in culture. But had I ever listened to it from start to finish? I don't think so.
What?
Yeah, no. I mean, I've already said this, but I'm kind of like this, like, misanthrope that lives in a cave, and it's so funny. I never felt like I was conspicuously disconnected from pop culture.
But he hasn't watched Glee, so.
But I didn't watch TV for 10 years, so that's probably a sign. So yeah, I don't know. When this song kind of came and went, and I didn't really consciously know about it. I do think it's kind of cool though, now knowing what happened and how it all went down with Christina getting involved later, that it's almost like it was from the beginning a group effort of a sort. Like the recording comes out, someone else gets involved 6 months or 9 months later or something like that. Then it gets covered all over the place. Like everybody wants to sing that song and play it because it's so like simple and perfect.
It's like the perfect little duet. Like it's like, who wouldn't want to sing that?
I wonder what it was like to have come up with this, to have written it and be like did they know? Did those three guys know when they first wrote it that this was going to be like this
insane,
crazy jam? Anyway, there's some rambling thoughts.
Any other songs you'd love to cover?
In Your Eyes, Peter Gabriel.
I don't know. That's a hard question. I mean, I don't know. I love the song Maybe by Lily Kershaw. That's like one of my all-time favorite songs. I would listen to it every single morning on my way to school senior year. I'd be like listening to all my sad songs at 7 a.m. Get myself going for the day, you know.
A little bit of sadness to get you going?
Exactly.
It's like coffee?
So definitely that song. And then, I don't know. I mean, I have a cover that Rob and I worked on that I'm very proud of that will be released at some point, but I'm very excited about.
Can you tell us what it is?
Yeah? Can we talk? Okay, I didn't want to be like, let me self-promote right now. But it's a cover of Sweet Child of Mine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's really funny how that came to be because randomly Rob just texted me, do you sing the song Sweet Child of Mine? And I was like, oh, do I? I was like, I have a whole arrangement I created. Yes. And I sent that to him, and we just threw it together in like, I don't know, 3 hours maybe? Yeah. And we just created this whole sort of vibey indie version of it that I think we're both, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we're both very proud of. So I'm excited for that one. And then anything Taylor Swift. I actually just want to sing with Taylor Swift, so Taylor Swift, hit me up. I'm right here. I'll be at your concert. Just pull me on stage.
If you need a guy, I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly, we're here.
What do you think happens as this plays? What do you envision?
Is today the 18th of March?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yes.
so the show comes out tomorrow, and only in Canada. So we don't even know what the show's about.
I know, and I know that there's like some pretty big people in it, and like Chad Michael Murray, and then what's the guy from Gilmore Girls? What's his name? I know his name's Luke in Gilmore Girls.
Luke and Gilmore Girls.
I told you I don't know actors' names. No, I'm so mad that we don't get to like
watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm stealing my our Canadian friends' login so that I can.
I have Canadian friends. I don't know. But no, I don't know. I imagine that it's like, oh my god, it's going crazy, and then there's like pictures, and it's like memories.
Oh yeah,
over. That's what I imagine.
A pan across a wall
Exactly.
of memories of a relationship that's ended.
That's what I imagine.
Maybe it's like a drug abuse situation.
It could be.
That could fit. It's like a family drama, so it could be like I don't know, substances or.
I don't know. I think it's like a love story, but maybe.
I have a hunch that somebody is going to need somebody to say something.
That's a good guess.
And then the season ends.
Yeah, and it ends on a cliffhanger.
I was just thinking, like, did you ever do a spelling bee? No? Is that even a thing anymore? That's not a thing. Wow, I'm dating myself. Yeah, I like won a spelling bee.
Okay, not to brag.
not to brag or anything. But you have to spell the word and you have time.
Yeah.
And if the time runs out, then you're disqualified.
Done. Yeah.
That's it. So I'm thinking that it was probably a scene with a spelling bee.
Say something.
And the judges just like really want this one person to win. but the person is so confused because they can't, remember how to spell.
And the word is necessary, and they can't remember how to spell.
If it's
necessary.
like 2 C's or 2 S's, that's probably and for 5 minutes.
And it's Luke from Gilmore Girls. It's him.
And it's
He's
Luke
the one
from Gilmore
who can't
Girls.
spell.
Yeah.
Great writing, yeah.
And for 5 minutes, we hang in the moment where the person is trying to think of how, right. And you pan across the audience members, and people are sweating and like taking their jackets off.
Yeah.
Could you tell me the word origin, please?
Can you use it in a sentence? Another sentence. A paragraph.
Totally unrelated, but I'm just curious, what word did you win? Is the spelling not?
Oh, well...
I'd like to spell it for you now.
I don't remember. The word that I remember is the word that I lost on. Because every spelling bee is followed by a bigger spelling bee. Yeah. So you basically just keep going until you lose.
What was the word?
Spelling bees create so many losers. It was tricentennial.
Okay, I would.
That I lost on. And it was the 2 N's. And it's sort of obvious, like, if you write it looks wrong with 1 N.
Yeah,
but
and you're a millennial? That is
right!
So
But they didn't even have that term back then.
It's Gen Z for the win.
They didn't. It's always Gen Z for the win.
It is. Sorry. But no, I never did spelling bees. I can't spell out loud. I can only spell like
on paper.
Yeah, I cannot spell out loud. I remember when we would have spelling tests, like in elementary school, and trying to spell them out loud with my parents testing me, I'd be like, I can't.
Oh man,
I can't do it.
It's a whole
so
different.
I'd have to write it down.
Yeah, but the spelling test was written.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Except one time I remember that they gave us words in Spanish, but I didn't go to a dual language school, so that was very confusing. Yeah. It was very confusing because I was like, I don't know Spanish, as a matter of fact. But I learned those words, so I know them now.
All right, well, so the song's going to be playing over a spelling bee, it seems, and...
Definitely.
Yeah, show ends, credits come on. What do you want people to feel when they hear this?
Oh.
They should be aching. They should be heartbroken. That's what I think. Someone lost the spelling bee. It'd be pretty sad.
Jason will be crying.
Yeah, Jason's like, it's bringing back the memory.
What do we want people to feel? I mean, honestly, music that is synced to picture needs to support the picture. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we've done our job if people are just completely lost in the reality that they're watching. And that this is just like emotional fuel for the reality that they're watching. It's different than being on stage as a musician and being the center of attention. I don't want us to be the center of attention.
No,
I want people to notice the song.
Yeah, stream it, but it should
like support that moment. I would love to watch it and be like, wow, this really was the perfect choice for this for what's going on.
Spoken like a good music editor.
That's right.
That you are.
Weep, weep.
Pretending to be selfless.
Well, I think the only other thing is how is this different than your individual artists' projects? And what do you do? Like, what do you want to say about your individual artist projects?
Great, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Right now I'm working on an EP with Rob. Rob is producing it, and he also co-wrote on it. Yeah, and that is very much all kind of about mental health and sort of that realm. So this is very different. I was telling Jason, like, I don't write love songs ever. So singing one, it was like very interesting because I'm like, I don't do this. Yeah, so that's what I'm currently working on. But I don't know, these are the kinds of things that I just feel really proud of because it's also cool because then when I can like show these things to my grandparents and be able to be like, I was in the show and like you can watch the show hopefully at some point, it'll come here. I think that's really special because the truth is with music is some people don't really get it in a sense. Where I'm like, no, I wrote this, and they're like, so sometimes I feel like these kind of cover projects that are synced are really special because you can show it to people and they can listen to it. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, right now just working on the EP, writing every day, and social media. That's the main stuff.
When will that be out, did you say?
This spring.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Yes. So
Does it have a name?
it's exciting. Yes, it's called Group Therapy.
Oh, that's a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about it.
Do you want to say anything about why mental health?
Yeah. I mean, I just think mental health is something very prominent in my own life. And I just feel like it's, especially after the pandemic, a lot of people really experience kind of the turmoil that is your own brain. And so I just feel like, I don't know, I just was inspired by a lot of that. So there's songs in there about grief and just feeling like a burden, and then also songs about how certain months will make you feel like it's just kind of everything like that. And that's just what I'm empowered by, and I'm inspired by mental health awareness. And so being able to wrap that into my art is something that I've always wanted to do. And I'm lucky that Rob has been able to then bring my songs to life through all the production and then also helping me write them. It's really cool. So I'm super proud of it, and I'm really excited. So we'll be releasing the first single soon-ish.
And you said that you don't write love songs, but you write a different kind of love song.
Yeah.
You have songs of real devotion.
Yeah.
Songs of self-love and the and the challenge it can be to feel that truthfully, and so there's tremendous heart in those songs, and I think that you bring such dimension to that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I can't wait. What about you?
Well, I have an EP coming out this spring. It's four songs that are basically about the things that can come apart and go wrong in relationships. And I didn't really realize that there was a theme to it until I was like, these four, and then wait a second.
Wait.
There's
that's kind of how mine was too. When we chose the songs, I was like, these all do kind of go together. It's interesting how that happens.
Yeah.
There's one that's quite not.
That's not quite the same as the others. Yeah, there's like a hopeful song, and then there's a song about like past wounds that aren't healed. There's a song about a relationship that really should have ended by now, and there's a song about a person that doesn't feel safe, like in the world, or to be seen. So yeah, all that stuff. A lot of times for me also, I'm not actually writing about relationships. I'm writing about meditative experiences, spiritual experiences. I don't consider myself a religious person, but there's spiritual undertones, and a sense of the divine in the world that we live in.
Like the universe kind of dealio.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But then inevitably it winds up sounding like a love song. But yeah, these are a little more crunchy and dark in some cases. So all that's coming out in the spring. And I've also been collaborating with a DJ in the UK who makes melodic house music, dance music.
That's cool.
I never really wanted to make like club music. So I like to wrangle people to remix my songs or work together on things that are more in the dance space. I love electronic music and I love dancing. So he and I are putting something out called Looking for Shelter in April. That's getting released on a label called This Never Happened, which is Lane 8's label for any of you who know the dance music world. A few other collaborations, but generally speaking, my artist project is much more a lush, complex, electronic, experimental than this. And there's some stuff out there, a few years worth of things to check out.
Go stream our songs.
Yeah,
please.
She's Sophia Moore.
Yes.
And I'm RYTERBAND.
In the flesh.